So we're here at UCT Film Studios. We are doing a little interview with the filmmakers from Variations on a Theme. I am Frankie Stromberg. I'm part of the Open Mic Film Night team. I am with
Cleveland, Hopp. I was fortunate enough to be the production manager on the film, as well as now helping with the coordination of the distribution.
Amazing. And yourself?
Devon, Delmar, co-writer, co-director and editor on the film.
I'm Jason Jacobs, and I am the co-director, co-writer, and all-inclusive, beautiful human being.
Thank you so much, guys, for coming out and joining us and actually just giving us a little bit of an insight into your experience making this film. It's really been a pleasure to be able to watch it and to share the experience that you guys have, put on the screen. If you could just give me a little bit of an idea, like how does a project like this come to life? Where does it begin for you? Like why does it exist now? What gave you that drive to make this project?
So Devon and I are fortunate enough to be working together on multiple projects, and we find the joy in figuring out narrative stories, engaging with each other from a very kind of unique perspective. We discovered that the National Film and Video Foundation has a call out called the Unsung Heroes Project, which is about honoring, giving life to, reimagining the lives of those who came before us, or people who we do not see as heroes in a South African context. Yeah. And we saw the call, and we responded from a space of knowing that we have a story that we'd like to tell and share with the world. Because of that, we are now here. We made the film, and we've traveled the world, and we're traveling the world with the film, and we're very excited.
Maybe, Devon, if you could maybe also just give us a little bit of an understanding of what the film is, just for those, because obviously our audiences yet haven't seen it. Could you give us maybe just a little bit of a basic synopsis of what the film covers?
Sure. So we're set in Karkams, and this is a town where Jason grew up. So it's very much a personal reflection of Jason's family. And what's been happening there, and something that we picked up on, it's not really a log line, but it's sort of where we came from, our entrance into the story, is conversations around memory, trauma that accompanied many men from the community having gone to Europe to fight in the Second World War. And their return to South Africa, they were paid with just a bicycle and a pair of boots. There's this resurgence of a conversation that's new to the space, to the Northern Cape as a whole. Men and women are discussing, what does fair compensation look like for that time? What does reparations look like? A conversation about memory and trauma and loss that's been circling there. And so Jason and I were sort of listening to these conversations, and while the film is a fiction, it very much deals with the lived reality that's going on there at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, personally as well, there's such a connective tissue. I think, my grandfather also fought in the Second World War, had to leave. So he was there from 41 to 45. And I think there is this generational loss, and a lot of people that don't want to speak and talk about their experience as well was something that I noticed. And I mean, the film has this beauty in its quietness. You've got a lead character in this grandmother who's in her 80s in the film, but she's a silent, strong character. She is a matriarch. Maybe also just Jason, I was kind of interested because you're saying this relates to your own personal family experiences and journeys.
That's his grandmother.
So this is your own grandmother as well. That's brave to also put your own family on the screen.
But when they're that good.
Yeah, she has so much power on screen. But I'm a little bit interested in then, how did you broach making a film with her and, I'm going to put you in this film, I'm going to make this story about you. How did she sort of receive that? How she felt through the experience?
It is an unexplainable, natural kind of alchemy. As storytellers, we never know the stories that we're going to tell. At least I don't. I never know what I'm going to be engaging with. And I hope the same for myself and Devon. Is that we have an idea of a story that speaks to us, but we never know when we're going to tell it. We never know how we're going to tell it. And in this instance, it just felt like it's the right time. And my family, my grandmother, they were so open to telling the story. So open to revealing themselves in such a vulnerable way, but also so open to just letting themselves go. I think we lack the sense of play as filmmakers. We lack the idea that we can be spontaneous and we can jump into something without knowing what we can get out of it. And the film is an exemplary kind of, I guess, example of that. Is that we understood in our deep core that we needed to tell the story, and we did. And I think my grandmother and everyone in the film, everyone from Karkams and from the Kamisberg, they have been so open and vulnerable and willing to play with us.
Yeah.
And I think it's from that experience that we were able to capture something that is timeless. It's a one of a lifetime experience, an opportunity. It is not possible to replicate it, and that's what makes it so special.
We can speak about like the structure and everything that underlines it, because there was a lot of thinking in our minds, early on about how we're going to structure it, and the title really speaks to various things that are happening in the script. But the sense of play that Jason speaks about was something that was really built in, because we wrote it. We kind of joke that it might be the first film that was ever written in Microsoft Excel, because it had this very stringent structure of like 5 columns, 5 story days, and then 30 shots going down. And so the script was very sparse in that sense. Like, we knew the beat and we knew where we were going, because you can look at it as a literal sheet, a table. But what that allowed us to do, and it was not something that we necessarily planned, it was kind of an accident of the process, was that then there was no written dialogue. We knew what each scene had to convey and the point of it, each one was, because we had written that, and it's a little block, it's a little cell. But it allowed us to get onto set, and going back to this idea of just how talented everyone was and how good the casting was, to bring together people who we could give the lightest of prompts to within a scene. And we're there just to kind of hold the guardrails, because we know where we need to be going to, and we know we've also got one shot. There's no coverage, so we need to be and time. Yeah, so this guy's there with a gun and a clock, like keeping us on our toes. But the prompts that we would give to then just let a conversation flow. Yeah. And I think that's what makes the film special, if we can say so ourselves, is that there's I think watching the performances, you forget you're watching actors, or that you thought that membrane sort of gets lost at some point, because it's quite observational, and people are literally actually just playing themselves. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to get to. They're playing themselves because they're talking from their own experiences. The prompt is so vague and open.
Of themselves, I'd say. Kind of an extension of themselves. There is a performativity. There is a performance is happening.
Sure.
And I think that people they kind of have an innate understanding that there's a camera and there's a story I have to tell, so I'm going to tap into a version of myself to tell that story.
Right.
At least that's what I believe.
But I agreed. But there's a kind of, because we're filming in places where everyone's really familiar with, is their own homes. Omaheti's house, so it's that she's not having to perform, she knows exactly where the salt and the pan is to do things in the house, that she can just reach, and that level of comfort in the space is something that an actor would have to work really hard at. And so we were just there as directors just to make sure, just to like set the conditions in which we could play. Yeah.
I think if I can come in there, which was also quite special, because I've also been fortunate enough to work with Devon and Jason on multiple projects. Yeah. And this idea of, what we as filmmakers do, we want to come in and bring our equipment and bring our props and bring our everything into a space. What was different with Variations on the Theme and with Chris, now that you guys are speaking about coloring in a space, is that not once did we come in and think that we are going to change everything and come and bring our things. It was such a beautiful experience to go into a space, sit and listen to what the space can give you. Yeah. And that is exactly what we did with shooting in people's houses, like getting clothes from the cupboards, working with people that they know. So it was myself, Vodine, Gladwin and Adri, we went about 2 weeks before we started the production, and we just went to go have conversations with our cast members. Also, obviously helping them, training them when it comes to reading agreements, invoicing, understanding what they are going to do, call time. So those conversations were also quite nice to have beforehand, and I think that definitely prepped them in some way or another. But also to know that they know Jason, they know Devon, they've worked on another film with Devon, they know me, they know Bodine. So that was nice to kind of play off each other's energies. And that's a beautiful thing of also working with community, is that we do know that the camera can come in and it can change an entire atmosphere, which is definitely sometimes a negative thing. But it's also a beautiful thing in some way, where a camera can come in and all of a sudden it's just magic happens. And it was really beautiful because 5 days, 30 shots, and the sun sets. Like, we need to be at the
At 6 o'clock, the sun sets.
It's down.
It's 5 o'clock. So figure it out.
And that part for me was also quite a unique experience, because we would get there, we would set up, and like Devon said, they would have guidelines, but the rest would just color in. And that was beautiful, the evolving, the like how we can see each day evolve, and how every day the actors are getting more comfortable and more comfortable and more comfortable. Towards the end, they just, let's shoot another movie. Let's do 4 more. That was nice.
And I mean, I think observing it, I definitely got that sense. And I think you guys have done such a service to yourself by being static and slow and deliberate with the camera work, allows it to feel so natural, and allows, like you said, you know, to be moving and pushing a camera through the space while the actors are trying to move around becomes quite intrusive on that personal space. Whereas here, there's the moments of like the family around the TV watching the rugby, and it feels like exactly like I'm in anybody's house watching this observation happen. Or again, when, you know, like at any moment when the people are sitting outside like the shop or the shebeen, it feels like we're capturing a real moment happening that would have happened whether we were there or not, as the filmmakers. Like there's a real honesty going on there.
That's really good to know. Like that was the intention. And that's why we had all these wides, in which we wanted that, and it's also anamorphic, so we wanted this very wide, very big space that your eye can wander. And even though there's a very definite narrative and you're following it along, and this was the trick of the edit, to kind of just make sure that we're touching on those beats, because even though it's very vague and kind of open, to just guide the viewer along enough. Which is something we learned from our first film. I think we weren't guiding quite enough. We were quite like, oh, well, they'll figure it out. And then you realize, well, they're not figuring it out. You need to help an audience along. And it was very tricky doing that with such wide frames, static shots. But there is still enough room for play on the part of the viewer, and so that there's room for interpretation, because your eye can literally wander and pick up on stories where, you know, there's a whole thing happening here on the right-hand side. You know, characters might be talking over there, but there's a guy here who's just smoking a cigarette that's maybe as interesting as that group on the left. I
think everybody has a life on the screen.
Yes,
you know, it's rather than like, oh, you're just an extra in the background. No, you live in this town. You're something, a part of this experience, whether it's like a huge part or a small part, but everyone's contributing, and it plays off on screen.
And I think in this moment I'm realizing the sense of control, this kind of thing of going, you know, traditionally you want the audience to feel like they're in control of the viewing. So you have a lot of close-ups and mids and here and there, and your cut is fast-paced. But here, it's a sense of let go of control, let the narrative and the frame lead you into a story. Because that's what prose does, like prose poetry. You just have to just run with where the water flows, right? And here, yes, we had a lot of kind of wides, but when we decided to go close, it was very intentional. Because we go close 6 times.
Oh, wow, you counted it.
I think so.
Okay.
We go close, apart from like, you know, the dolly or something, but we go close in terms of the image on the frame of the existing frame. 5 times, and the 6th time is we go close into Omaheti, where we kind of inside of her psychology. We are close inside of this kind of uncomfortable space. But what I'm getting to is that this film teaches us as filmmakers that it's sometimes okay to allow your audience, or try and create an environment where your audience doesn't rely on the quick, fast-paced edit, where it's the next day, and you kind of hopefully sit back and you just watch what's unfolding in front of you, even if it is a repetition.
But getting that buy-in is so it's our life's work trying to figure out how to do that.
I got like lots of echoes of like Jim Jarmusch, that Stranger in Paradise. Felt like that kind of where I will hold this frame until you accept it, until you are part of it, like, and then you're lost in the story. Like, there's never a moment where I'm like, oh, I'm enjoying the journey and stuff. Like, sometimes it's happening. Sometimes in your film, like where the cars are going down the road and there's a bit of activity and people in the back, like you can feel there's energy in the town, but like we are the ghosts observing a lot of the time. I feel like as the camera, like we are along with almost with the grandfather character. There's like you almost are we the ghost watching all the time. That was the kind of sense that I had. Please.
Thank you very much. I do. I really do. Because you ask yourself, are you in the past watching on? Or are you, not giving a lot away, but are you the bird coming into the house to witness? Or are you the future version of the grandson speaking back because of the narration? Are you memory expanded? Are you some writer somewhere in the world narrating the story? Yeah, it's actually quite clever.
Also the politics of like weight.
But it reflects on screen. And it's thoughtful. That's the point. Like that's what I enjoy the most about it, is that it doesn't allow you to just ease through it. You have to be thoughtful while you're watching it.
Sorry, Cliff?
No, I agree. I think that also connects to, like, in my opinion, like the politics of like waiting. Like just how it's not a linear process. Like how it's not a black and white. There's moments of hope, but there's definitely moments of disappointment, and you try and dance with that waiting. So I think it's like that is beautiful.
I mean, again, I don't want to get too much into the details of the film because I know it is coming out, and I'd like to encourage people to just obviously go and see.
Talk about the film. Please.
Exactly.
Come on.
I mean, I'm quite interested in. I recently did a road trip with my mother for her birthday up into the Northern Cape for the first time. And we went all the way up. You know, we went all the way to Port Nolloth and then went inland to like Kakamas and we went through Pofadder but I had a real sense of like sadness in a lot of the towns, in the same sense that this film gives me, of that these are places that are losing a lot and have lost a lot, and people are moving away from and forgetting about. And there are people that are still there, but it's fewer and fewer. Like, you know, driving through Pofadder was like quite sad. It's really a town that's, to stay there almost feels like you will be lost and you will be forgotten. Like, if you're a young person, there's not enough to keep you there now. And I guess I was interested in like what your experiences were and what your family's experiences have been maybe in the town then.
Look, it's not lost on us that you will gain a lot more if you have the privilege to be able to go study or go and find a job outside of the place. But I've also learned that the counter is also possible. The opposite is also very much true. Us engaging in the kind of, at least myself, being able to leave and come back. I return because the city doesn't have what I need for my spirit to go back
100%.
there. There is a poverty in a kind of understanding of kind of social status or economic poverty, which is very much the truth. But there's a poverty in the city dweller that they don't yet recognize, that they don't see in themselves. A lostness, a sense of looking for something, a sense of loss of hope, a disconnection with community that we see in every creator, at least 80%, and I'm spitballing, of people who find themselves in the city, they have their dream job, but they're very unhappy, right? Because they were encouraged, but also pushed out of their small communities to go and find sense of hope.
Yeah.
But now, because of everything that's happening around the world and the state of collapse that we are in, not only planetary collapse, I think we have 13 years left of fresh water or something like that, but also just the collapse in terms of understanding ourselves kind of interlocally, or kind of the sense of everything about us as humans, in terms of your race, your sexuality, your gender, everything. You feel out of place. Everywhere you try and pop in, you try and insert yourself like a plug into a wall. But then there is this richness about a Karkams, about a Kakamas, about a Port North that you cannot buy. And so you go there because you feel called to travel through there, because you in yourself has something that you've lost. And that's why you return. And I think this is also what the film tells us and brings us, is that we have to be codependent in terms of the understanding of a successful life in the city and the understanding of the enrichment of living in a place like Karkams. And where are we in the world as humans in terms of the returning to these spaces? Because Karkams is an example of a place that's actually living in the future. When the world collapses, Karkams will survive, because Karkams has an understanding and a kind of a cosmology of understanding how to survive, right?
100%.
Sure.
Which is something that we don't have in the city spaces. So we are codependent on each other and of each other. And this is why this film is important. The film needs to remind the city dwellers that you are relying on the knowledge of Karkams in terms of how are you going to exist in the world after the collapse. Because the collapse is coming. It's not something that we can deny.
And it's cyclical. I mean, humanity has gone through we go through collapses on a regular basis. It's just we've lived quite a privileged time in history in some ways, like in that. I think maybe what I found interesting in this context was, I 100% understand, and I agree with you 100%, that sense of like, once you actually interact and you get to spend time around people in these smaller communities and spaces, it's magical and it's honest and it's true. What I think where I find like the pessimism,
it's futurist. That's what I'm trying to say.
That there's this is a way of living outside of a bigger, like an economic system. I think what I was sad watching the film, what actually made me sad more than anything else, was the idea that nobody is enacting the sort of those behaviors though. The family is coming in and the kids are playing TV games. The parents are watching sports. Nobody's like going with her with the goats and sitting quietly and having a moment. Like the people are playing dominoes outside. They're not trying to enrich their lives. So like there's the sense of that's what's being lost though, and the grandmother character to me felt like she was holding on to that tradition.
Completely agree with you. Yeah.
But the rest is like they've lost the opportunity and they're not seeing it. And theirs is like, we have to save her from this hardship. But she has an enriched life. It's just she's getting old.
And in a way, the rest is the rest of us, right? I think is that the rest is the rest of us who can't see the root
and the value
of care for landscape, for farm life, for something as basic as water.
I think also something which is, because I'm experiencing it now, having like been pushed out of the small town to go find yourself, and then coming back home and finding myself at home, is also, because even that sense, like home, like and what does that mean for like you? And I think that idea of also understanding that there's no a destination for your change or for your healing or for your becoming, is that it is part of that journey, but the privilege is to be able to return back. I think that for me is a huge privilege, being in the city, being so bombarded with so much noise and trying to find my own silence and peace in a space that was definitely not designed for me.
Yeah.
But then coming back home with the resources from the city
Yeah.
and the knowledge from the city and the lessons from the city, I can come back home, and now I have an opportunity to have that conversation, to really sit with my silence,
Yeah.
to really sit with myself, to really sit with the people around me, and to understand each other. And I think leaving and coming back is such an important thing to do.
Yeah.
Leaving definitely, but coming back more so that you can also understand that conversation. And I think that's also what the film is doing, which is such a beautiful thing, in my opinion, is that, yes, the family wants Oma Hattie to come back home, and that's all good and well, but she's found her home.
Yeah.
And they found their home, and it's a beautiful thing that they can still come back to come and have that moment with her.
Yeah.
So I'm also for going back home and understanding that you're still a work in progress. Like, you don't come home and then you've made it, you know. I think that's important.
Yeah, I can totally relate. And a lot of my experiences as well is traveling back home and taking the knowledge that you've gained, but then going to a safe place that you can interpret that knowledge.
But also,
pushing it
home
back.
isn't always safe for everyone.
True. Yeah.
That's the tricky thing, is that we are privileged enough to be able to go home and be our authentic selves.
Yeah.
It's not always the same for everyone else. And we are not ignorant of that, right? However, there is a precious element about returning and about embracing the return. I think it's just so silly of us to think that the future is in the city, because it really isn't. It really isn't. Yeah.
I know we're running a little bit short on time today. We are going to be continuing this conversation at our screenings for the Open Mic Film Night later this month. I'm really looking forward to it. I want to take a little bit more time to reflect on the film. It really is a powerful piece.
Thank you so much.
And it's a quiet, powerful piece, so I think it does need time to, germinate and grow. So by the time we speak again, I'm sure I'll have much more to talk about then. And I'm excited to go see it at the cinemas as well. Are there any, could you maybe give an idea of the cinemas that it's showing at, just in case people want to know where they could book or see it? Put you on the spot.
No,
Cleveland runs the show. Runs the show.
no. So the film will be it will be shown at a Stukkenikonovo in Rosebank, and then Novo in the Vienna Waterfront.
Yes.
From the 8th of May, and then at the Labia, as well as the Bioscope Cinema in Joburg. Tickets are live. Block bookings are available. There's some nice specials. Follow us on Instagram.
What's your page for the Instagram that they should follow on?
At Variations on a
That's
Theme Film. That's Instagram, that's TikTok, that's Facebook, and Crow Stories on YouTube. And yeah, please follow us, and obviously follow our journey.
Yes.
I think there's also a lot of exciting news to follow. So that's,
And reach out. We love to meet new people. We love to collaborate. We love to open ourselves up, especially to people who want to come into the industry and people who want to come and live in Karkams for a living. So please pull through.
I honestly would love to visit.
No, please come through.
yeah.
We'll send you an invoice.
No, come. I'll help with a bit of. I'd love to actually just.
No, it changes you.
Experience a bit of the community.
It's a space to be in. Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys. I'm going to let you run off for now, and we will continue the conversation in a
Thank
few
you,
weeks' time.
everybody.
Thank you so much.